Hello everyone and welcome back. So today what we are gonna do is design the space of our interior. Okay? I already know what I want to do, but just in case this is not your case, so for this I'm gonna use the grease pencil, of course. So I've added a grease pencil object in my scene, and I'm gonna switch to the draw mode. Something I'm gonna do here is start the shortcuts, just in case, because I'm gonna rely heavily on shortcuts here. And what we can start with, if you have no idea what you want things to look like, is to do what is called thumbnails. Okay, so these are like small drawings that will help to think about how we want things to be organized. I'm gonna switch to this shading mode. And so, just in case, I talked about using either a mouse or a graphic tablet. So what I'm gonna do now is doing all of this step using my mouse, so that it shows that you can also do it if you don't have a graphic tablet. But of course, if you have one, I would recommend you use it. So just in case you can't draw like something really straight with your mouse, what you could do is, if you want to draw a line here, you've got the line tool. Okay, so this allows you to place both extremities of the line and then hit enter on your keyboard just to confirm the line. Okay, or you've got another options which can be found here in the stroke menu. You've got the stabilize stroke options. So if you enable this, you will see that your stroke is a bit different. You get at the head of it a small red line, okay, that allows you to smooth your movements. So if you draw a straight line, you can see it's much straighter, and both parameters are like the radius is the max size of the red line at the end of your stroke, okay. That allows for smoother curves. And the other parameter, the factor, I think this is how much the strokes are smooth. If it's lower, you will see that you will have strokes, here you can see it, that will be not as smooth. And with a higher value, you can see you can obtain a much smoother line. Okay, so let's keep the values at where they are, and we can then draw our rectangle like that. This rectangle represents your screen size and HD format, okay, larger than higher. This particular scene will be set in a Parisian café, okay. So what I'd like to have is having like tables like that, having my main character on top of one like that, okay, seated with like coffee and all, okay. And then I think we'll have like something in the foreground over here, okay. It would be something like a tree or I think traffic light pole. Then this could be like the entrance of the cafe, like that. You know, they sometimes have big openings like this, and I'd like this to be at the corner, something like that. And then in the she might be inside, and so you will have also small other tables like that, okay. And maybe I'll have in the inside. So let's switch to edit mode. I'm gonna change this to the lasso tool, so I can select this, and then I will just make it here so that she looks like she's outside. And what I'd like maybe to have are like shades what do you call that? Okay, outside to cast some shadows on top of her depending on our mood, and then inside I will have other tables. This here like a counter with over there arches with bottles like you have in some coffees, okay, and at the back here some kind of like comfortable seats where you will have seated a couple, okay. So it looks a bit strange like that, okay, but let's think about it, okay, a bit. And maybe what I can do here is adding another layer. I will, using these arrows here, set it below my strokes. I'm gonna give it another material which will be not strokes but fill, okay, maybe just like a slight grayish color will do. If you use the paint buckets, there's something you can do. You can either click on an area which is close to color this area, but then you can also, holding shift, do something like that. So this will be like the behavior as if you were doing a stroke. If I remove that and I add a stroke to this material and I use my pen, you can see that's exactly what's happening, okay. So this I will have like several can have 3 materials. So let's paint the foreground or the background first. What's important, I'm gonna be those 2 guys here, okay, couple, okay, and the tables there maybe, okay. And then you've got the middle ground which is gonna be at the beginning. I think that's gonna be the counter, okay, something like that, and maybe the entire coffee area like the walls, okay. Let's make it a bit darker, and then for the foreground, okay, that's gonna be her with the little tables outside, and the main character is a female, and maybe this boy here, okay. So let's think about it. The great thing about it is that you can zoom out or in as much as you want, and then you can see what's right and what's not. Have a look at it from afar, or if you wish to, you could also squint your eyes so that you can see what's right and what's not. Okay, maybe something like that would be okay. I think that could be okay. Okay, we can start with that. As I said, I already knew I wanted this to be like that, so that's why I'm not doing several of them, but of course you could try to use several of them, or having like, let's say, another layer on top of all of them. Okay, let's this was the frames, this is the drawing, okay, let's say, and this could be the notes, okay. Can have give it another material and call it notes. This would be a stroke, but something like a green, very bright green stroke. Then we can analyze our drawing. So let's say we want this to be in the focus. So what would be good would be to have like a really strong contrast, okay, in this area. So that will be possible because you will have the sun hitting the outside of the coffee, and also those objects making shadows area, okay, around this. We could have most of this area in shadow and having lights around here. also, so the focal point will be here. What we need to do is driving it to here, okay, and of course going back here as well. So for that, I will have the counter below, behind, okay, that will drive our view towards here, and then maybe we can have, I was thinking about that, having some kind of stairs in the background like that, okay, that will just make this area dark, because you will have the shadows of the stairs here, but maybe something like lights on top of the couples so that they will be lit, so your eyes will be drawn toward here, and then going outside here I can have like something here darker that blocks our view, and maybe we can have here on the coffee table something like a pattern that would drive us back to the main character, and again bouncing like that, okay? So this might be a bit confusing for you because it's like everything is on top of everything, but I assure you at the end you will see what it's like, okay? So now, a great thing about the grease pencil is that they are objects, and they are objects in 3D space. If I go back to this view and I have this, okay, thumbnail that I want to create, what I could do would be to, let's say, go out of this, create another grease pencil object, okay, call it table, for example, and then I'm gonna draw a table. What you could do here is like when you have something like a cube, you can see its dimensions, so it's 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters, meaning that 1 square of this grid is 1 meter per 1 meter, okay? So a table will be something like, if I switch to the top view, you can see here these are the limits. So let's go to draw mode, choose a circle, and then I'm gonna choose maybe something like that, okay? And I can modify it if I want, okay? So that could be the top of my table. What I can do, this is using a black O1 material. I'm going to choose table material, which would be fill like that, maybe not as dark, okay? And now I've got table. Tables like for coffee tables, there would be something like maybe 80 centimeters high, so this is 1 meter, so this is 80, maybe a bit less, let's say a bit less, okay? And now I can like draw the legs, okay? And this will be like the legs at the bottom, okay? And now I have my coffee table, okay, which is great. I don't mind the fact this is here. What this means is you can go in the grease pencil settings, under the stroke section you've got 2D layers or 3D location. This means now that I can see objects depending on their location in the 3D space. When we had this set as 2D layers, everything I drew after another one will be on top of the previous thing. That's why we can see the legs of this table above the top parts. But if we switch to 3D location, now it's correct, okay? Now I have a table. If I go back to object mode, I can duplicate this table and set this somewhere in my coffee. Let's select this one and hide the notes, okay? So we got coffee tables. Oh, this was here like that. Coffee tables at the back, okay? And maybe what I should do now, I'm gonna add another grease pencil object. I'm gonna do a floor plan. That could be something useful as well. Okay, let's call it floor plan. Okay, so that's our floor plan. Let's go back to our tables. these were meant to be inside, so let's drag them inside and duplicate them like that. Okay, perfect. We got part of our space. Let's draw, I think I'm going to draw the facade of our coffee. So I've drawn another grease pencil object. Let's call that facade. Okay. Would be better if you have no idea of how you want this to look like, to have some kind of references. Okay, you can find them online, of course. You can add a camera. Okay. In the camera settings, in the view tab here, you've got something called camera to view. This allows you to move the camera while you are viewing through it. Just to show you, I'm going to switch to my camera view here. This is activated. Okay, camera to view. You can see that while it's activated, there is a little red dot rectangle around it to just say that it's activated. And now if I move in this view, you can see here that the camera is moving with me. So I would be looking at the scene somehow this way. Okay, maybe to make things faster, I'm using what is called quick favorites. So using the Q key on your keyboard, you can have access to your quick favorites. I have lock camera to view here as a quick favorite. Okay, and to add an item to it, just right click on it and select add to quick favorites. Okay, and when you have them like that open, you can right click and remove from quick favorites if you want to. Okay, so now I have my point of view. Okay, over here what I can do is create walls for all of these things. So I'm just gonna use this object for that. Let's draw a wall. Okay, let's now maybe model or take a few of these tables. I'm gonna duplicate them, but then I need that to be a bit smaller, and maybe this guy is to be like a bit lower. Okay, now this is a table for the outside. Let's duplicate them around here. Okay, see how this is like. Okay, you can see that here we've got a problem. We can no longer see what's going on. This is because we need to also activate 3D location parameter here. Now it's much better. Okay, one thing that you have seen here maybe is the use light options for the layers. This means that if I now add a light to my scene in random mode, and now you can see these lights affecting, you can see my background on the right side of my screen. Okay, if I increase this, you got a light. Okay, so now got this, I can maybe draw my character. I'm gonna add new grease pencil, which is gonna be my character. Okay, again, this is gonna be a really simple one. I'm gonna use the table material just so that everything is looking almost the same, and I can draw my character, which is gonna be like this. Okay, drawing might not be the greatest drawing in the world, but it doesn't matter. This is just what we will call a placeholder. I can have two more characters at the back here, like that. They are seated. Now, what I can do in the camera options is going to camera viewport display section and increase the passepartout to 1 so that we can only see in this view what the camera view, not what is outside. If I am to maybe use area lights, maybe that's gonna be a bit better. Let's see. Okay, and those will be at the back. Just perfect. Okay, and this is just again to see if that's working or not. Maybe what I could do now is adding this just to make sure it's working. And the counter, you can see it's not doing what we wanted with what we did previously. It's supposed to lead the viewer's eye towards the left, so we can either maybe change the camera point of view toward this a bit more like that, but that could work. Okay, like that. Okay, so I think this lesson is long enough. Hope you found that useful. I'm going a bit everywhere, but this is a bit less of 3D course than it is of the question of a project and maybe the process of it. So if you think I'm just going too fast or I need to explain a bit more things, like going deeper, let me know in the comments, but otherwise I'm gonna just keep on going like that so that I can go a bit faster with the project. Next step is to actually build the space in 3D now that we have it in 2D and we think in terms of scale and space it is working. Okay, and as I said, this was done only using 2D things. Of course, there is a bit of 3D navigation in space, but I hope that you can manage. Okay, otherwise you've got my lessons about that if you want to. So hope to see you next time, everyone, for the 3D builds of this scene. And I'm glad you are still here with me. Take care, everyone. Have a good life. Enjoy creating, and see you soon. Bye.